What is up, fellow bench warmers? Welcome to your daily fantasy quickie. What's up, guys? Week 20 Judgment Day. How was your day? It was an exciting day. I can see Komish not very happy. Might give us some stories today. Why is that so? But today, lots of exciting matches in our Fantasy Benchwarmers leagues. I've seen group chats got alive today because of the very close matchups between teams. Of course, my name is JJT before we get to it. And of course, we have Komish, who will probably share, let out or vent his frustration on what happened today. Biggest frustration this week and today, I guess.
No, this week has been fine, actually. I can't complain. It's just because of this team, the cursed team. It cursed me until the end. I don't know why, but I'm very, very vested in that team. I really wanted to win. I wanted to prove that I can win despite losing my top 7 players. And I almost did it. And it hurt me because, as you can see, I haven't slept much because I was really monitoring that particular team. Just for context, the team, as we said, lost the top 7 players. Basically, I've been out. AD, CP3, FVV, Holmes, Hayward, Raymond Green, Giddy. So basically top 7. But the strategy that I shared with all of you is field goal, rebounds, steals, blocks, turnovers. And I was so happy because it's down perfectly. It happened until Sunday night. Sunday, the last day, it was 5-4. The problem was my opponent, of course, had the 4 categories by a wide margin. Even if he doesn't play the last day, he will get the 4 categories. While mine, I have 3 categories which are quite safe, but I have the turnovers which I was leading by just 1. Okay, so I'm gonna ask Jeremy this because what would you have done? Because there's a 1 a.m. and a 3:30 a.m. game.
Mm-hmm.
And I had Al Horford at 3:30 a.m. My opponent, I saw that he put down his 1 a.m. game to the bench and the 3:30 a.m. game, which was Andre Drummond and Spencer Dinwiddie. So
he did play anyone from the 1 a.m. game.
I was still awake. I was still awake at the 1 a.m. game, and I saw he didn't play Drummond, which is surprising because he was down 4 steals. So he didn't play Drummond. So I was saying, okay, he didn't play Drummond, even if Drummond could get a lot of steals. That's Andre Drummond. So he's probably waiting for me to play my players. And if my players play and then I lose, I get 2 turnovers, then he can not play any players. He wins.
Yeah.
So what I did was I dropped all my players. I dropped all my players because I think it's better safe like that. Because I can't play my first player that will play. The only player that I will play that's not 7 a.m. was Al Horford, 3:30 a.m. And he probably woke up and he probably saw that I put down all my players, so he had no choice but to play his players. So he played Spencer Dinwiddie at 3:30 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't wake up on time to see that move, so I did not roster Al Horford, who of course just went out and made 5 steals and didn't have any turnovers. For context, I lost by two steals.
How many steals did Dinwiddie get?
None. But the point is, when he played Dinwiddie, I had to play my players already.
All right.
Yeah, I had to play the players already because Dinwiddie got 2 turnovers and 1 steal. So the turnover difference became 3. So now I have a little buffer already.
Yeah.
But the steals were getting closer. So I had to play my players. And I rested, but I didn't play all. I rested Buddy Hield, which was a mistake also because Buddy Hield only had 2 turnovers and I won by 3 turnovers. And Buddy Hield had, I think, 2 steals. So it could have been a tie. But, I could not do anything. If I played Horford and Horford had 2 turnovers, game over. Game over. Right? So, well, and Devin Booker, it went down to the last game. Devin Booker versus Austin Reeves. I was one steal up, and I was thinking Austin Reeves is gonna get more steals than Devin Booker, so I'm safe. And Devin Booker gets 4 steals. When did that ever happen? I'm telling Jeremy. When did Devin Booker have ever had 4 steals in a game?
Yeah.
So there.
Breaks, those are the breaks. I mean, that's a difficult situation to be in, right? Turnovers is one of the things that if it's really close, and then the other categories are close as well, it's really hard to decide when to sit your players or when to play them. And it's always a judgment call. Even if you played Al Horford and he played, at the point that he played Dinwiddie and you played Al Horford, you could have still won it, right? And also, we kept thinking about our players, not thinking about the other team's players as well. So we don't really know.
And I just analyzed the team. My problem was I played DeMarcus Cousins too much because I added him for this week. The problem was DeMarcus Cousins, I think, had 4 games this week, and I think had 14 or 15 turnovers. He was basically the reason why the turnovers became close, because my team was a team of nobodies, just pickups. So I should really be winning turnovers by a big margin, and that's why I wasn't caring if DeMarcus Cousins had 6 turnovers, 4 turnovers. But what happened was it made that category too close for comfort that I had to think that I did not have a little buffer. So that was a big mistake.
Yeah. Other things though, there are still other players who have been bust this week. I was complaining about the field goal percentage of James Harden. He is 25%, 13 of 51 from the field. And I was just so lucky to be able to win that category in one of the leagues. Also because, I don't know if it's the James Harden effect, but Joel Embiid shot 40% the whole week. A bad percentage already, given that Embiid is usually a good percentage type of player. He's been shooting outside jumpers, fadeaways. I don't know what he's doing. Harden is I guess rubbed off on James Harden as well.
I have another. This one's the good news for today. It was a Champions League of FBW, and I was down the whole week. And I'm gonna rant for my opponent. I was down 2-7. I was even down 0-9 at the point, and I won that. I won it by tying the series at 4-4. And I'll just say it like this: I was down 4 blocks and 12 rebounds coming today. I was down 3-6 coming to today, and my opponent, I was down 4 blocks. My opponent had Robert Williams and Clint Capella. My best, I had Darius Baisley, SGA. I had these guys, and he's actually messaging me now. He said Robert Williams had 0 blocks, Capella had 1, SGA had 3 blocks, and I said, "What can you do?" And I told him, "Yeah, I mean, it's luck, right?" Okay.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes it just boils down to that one bad game, right? Yesterday, I also thought that I was out of it. Because my opponent had Josh Hart, who scored 44 points. And I told myself, the only way for me to win, and I told this to Joseph. I told him I'm pretty much out of this. The only chance I would have, because today I had Haliburton, I had Hield, I had Jaylen Brown. So all of these players can score, right? And he had some, Jay Sean Tate, not really scorers, but more utility guys. I guess the scorer there was KPJ, but not really a heavy scoring player, right? If he gets lucky, he might get 20 plus points. So, and I also had KD. And I was chatting Joseph yesterday and told him that the only way for me to win this, if KD gets 50 points, that cuts the opponent's lead to pretty much half, right? Because he was up like 80 or 90 points, and I think 8 threes, something like that. And when I woke up, KD had 53.
53. Yeah.
So I guess what what are the chances that he gets 50 on a night I need 50? And Charles was complaining as well in the other league he is in, because he said it's bench warmers league. He was also against KD and he lost that. So I guess that's the kryptonite to Charles's team. KD had 50, and then it was so close until the fourth quarter of that Indiana game. That's the only time I took the lead, with Halliburton scoring a little bit more. That's one. And then the other league, I was up 10 threes, right? I had Bane. I think I also had a couple more shooters. I had Seth and Gallinari. Unfortunately, Seth did not play. But I had Bane and Gallinari. I said 10 threes could be enough, right? A good cushion already. And then Trae Young had 7 in the first half. So that got my lead to set 3. I pretty much lost that, but I think I got the steals and the blocks thanks to Bamba, Isaiah Jackson, who had great blocks numbers. So yeah, really got lucky in a lot of leagues, especially those 3 bench warmers leagues. I thought I was going down 0 without any representation in any of the final 4. But yeah, we got lucky. Again, there in our bench warmers league, there were 3 top seeded players who was taken out of the competition today. Seedings really are nothing at this point. Matchups are everything.
Matchups, and remember, a lesson, just to wrap up the lesson part, the storytelling part of this quickie is the lessons. You're never too far away. You're never too far away from anybody in the playoffs. You can come back. You can come back any given day. You can still come back, and you just have to make the right move. Just don't give up. In the Champions League, I literally almost gave up. And the last minute, I said, okay, I'll just check my Champions League. Whatever, I'll add Brandon Clark.
Same thing.
Yeah,
I felt the same thing.
I'll add Brandon Clark just for the heck of it, since it's probably going to be my last day anyway. So I just dropped Will Barton or whoever. I said, who cares? I did that, and the 10 rebounds of Brandon Clark helped me win rebounds by 5 or 6. And then Brandon Clark had 1 block. The blocks were tied. So if I didn't do that, I would have lost. So, it's just never give up. Never give up.
Yeah, never. And luck can, the ball can bounce your way. I mean, in the Superstars League, I was really, the opponent had Jackson Hayes, had Brandon Clark. I mean, who would have thought he'd lose the field goal right there, right? I had Ja Morant. I even started Dylan Brooks just out of desperation. I just said, hey, let's just try it out and see what happens. I got lucky. Let's talk about some possible players this week that could help you in your streaming. Markelle Fultz is one of the guys that we've always been talking about. Played another great game today. He had 11 assists, 3 steals. One player I thought of adding yesterday in the Champions League. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's the league. I thought of adding him just because I wanted to see if he can get more steals. And he did. If I added him, I would have won steals as well. But yeah, and plus the good schedule this week. No back-to-backs, so you won't have to worry about that.
Yeah, no back-to-backs, and the streaming is good. The first 2, and Jalen Suggs got hurt. Jalen Suggs sprained his ankle today. So if that causes Jalen Suggs any time, even Fultz looks even better for this week.
Duane Washington, if you need the threes and the scoring, he has been hot lately. Actually, he has been hot the past few games already, and he's been hot. Like, he doesn't need that many minutes to get hot, really. Once he's hot, he's very streaky. And today was another game where he had, quick 22 points.
But I did point out there that Duane and I put Terry Taylor, or because Chris Duarte is out. I said be careful with adding these Pacers because of the schedule. The Pacers schedule, week 21 is almost like week 20. They have a 2-day break in between. And what's worse is that on week 22, if you look, they don't have any games on the first 2 days. So it's really not good for them in the next few days. So that's the only reason why I'm kind of down on these guys. But if you just need a 1 game stream, that maybe yes,
Yeah.
we can do that.
Other players you might consider, Jose Alvarado. I
Nah,
was talking to you about Jose Alvarado, right, yesterday.
yeah.
I was looking for steals. I asked Kumish, what if I add Jose Alvarado? But we weren't sure. I wasn't sure about the minutes. But yeah, he had 6 steals today. Could have
Yeah.
won these steals.
And actually,
Streaming,
that
not
was against.
these are not week long holds, right?
Yeah.
These are case to case basis. Nice to know these names just to see that you might not have noticed what they've done, right? I mean, who are these guys, right? Jose Alvarado, they're not really known players, but in a day like today, they could have helped you by a lot. I mean, he had 16 points, 10 assists, and 6 steals. Where would you get that? Even some of the starters didn't get that today.
And that's why matchups matter. It was against the Rockets, and you have to look at players like Alvarado, who has a very high upside if the game becomes a garbage game, which basically it was for a long time. So that was a matchup thing. But McCollum is out. Alvarado will have some games not as good as this, but multiple steals and relatively high assist for a bench player.
Yeah.
So there.
And it's also good to know what strengths do these players have. What type of categories can they help in? Not just blindly adding them just because of the name value or they're good, they were good. But these might not be the categories you would be looking for. So who else? Bruce Brown, like we said, has been good. Should not have been dropped. Georges Niang, in case you need threes. Actually, threes are a lot in the waiver wire. If you need threes or scoring, there's a lot there. Niang, Duane Washington, Austin Reeves. Danilo Gallinari has been dropped in some leagues, but he's been okay. I mean, 3-pointers a game, maybe 15 points at most. Solid numbers for someone you pick up.
And John Collins is hurt. I mean, not hurt. We don't know if it's just a management thing or he's still really sore. So Okongwu and actually Gallinari looks okay. Actually, Austin Reeves, I was gonna say that the Lakers have 3 games in the next 4 in the next 6 actually. So they have a lot of games right away. They have the best incoming schedule for that amount of time. That's why Austin Reeves, I have not dropped him in the leagues that I picked him up. He's gonna be useful, saving.
Especially if the Lakers start resting some of their guys. I mean,
like LeBron for tomorrow, we don't know. That might be a thing because I don't know. It's still a possibility. It's a possibility.
Yeah. The challenge with the Lakers is that they can rest players because what
they'll get blown out.
Yeah, they get blown out. That's like today. But the thing is for them is that why can they afford to rest players? Because the guys behind them are pretty much not really interested to get in the play-in. I mean, right? I was watching Inside the NBA and they mentioned, who do you think gets in the play-in over the Lakers? Really, no team wants to get in there over the Lakers. So I think that's the reason why they can afford to rest some of their guys. Who else are good streams? Najee Marshall is another
Najee Marshall.
You have to remember today he had 37 minutes. So yeah, the minutes are there.
Almost had a double-double with steals, I think, at a block. So we've been mentioning Najee for a while over Trey Murphy. He's still the guy you add. Still the guy you add, guys.
Yeah. Players, Caruso, in case he's still there, the steals and blocks. Dillon Brooks.
Dillon Brooks returns. Yeah, I mean, if he's available, you add him, of course. Dillon
all the guys that we've talked about.
Yes. Over all the guys we talked about. Most of them, I don't remember all the names we talked about, but most of them, yes. Yeah. Except Bruce Brown, maybe.
Yeah. There. Who else? Yeah, it's gonna be a day-to-day thing. Who to add at this point? I think that's going to be the theme here. There's really no, we can feel good about these performances, these guys, but some of these guys aren't. So about Harden and Curry at this point. We've been talking about them all season, and now both of them are not struggling and not really useful for any fantasy team. I mean, if James Harden shoots the way he did this week, man, and worse, I don't know if it's worse if he rests or just played, right?
Yeah. Since we're talking about Harden, we talk about the rest that we mentioned. The Clippers mentioned that they will rest players. The Sixers have mentioned they will rest players, and the Spurs have been resting players. So that's 3 teams. Harden for the Sixers, if you think about it, he's probably the number one possibility that will rest because he's, I guess, not really healthy from the looks of it. So he could be resting a lot of, well, I hope not a lot, but some games here or there, which could be annoying. If the Sixers have only 3 games, which they only have 3 games, I think for next week, not for this week 21. But if they have 4 games, it becomes 3 or 2. That's a big thing. But will you want him over Steph at this point? It's close now. It's close. I'll say this. Right? I'll say that.
Right? It's like we thought that James Harden would be the guy to own, but I don't know at this point. I mean, Curry had a stinker the other day, like 8 points. Come on. 8 points and 8 assists.
I'll put it this way. If Steph doesn't rest the next few games, he stops resting games, I would prefer Steph over Harden. At this point because I think Harden will rest. And the Warriors have a good next 2 weeks. The schedule are good. But that's if Steph doesn't rest. And I think Steph will rest also. So both of them might really be none of the above.
Plus we'll get Draymond back. We've been talking about how Draymond's presence helps Steph. So maybe, just maybe, for those Steph owners, in case you're still alive in the playoffs, because I've known some managers who have been eliminated just because of that Steph Curry and maybe some other unfortunate events. But yeah, in case you're still alive with Steph Curry, Draymond's coming back, so that might help the cause of Draymond. So yeah, that's our quickie for today. Well, good luck to all those who moved on to the semifinals of our Fantasy Bench Warmers League. So the next 2 weeks will be exciting. I'm pretty sure. Hopefully, it's gonna be a close one as well, but not too close because I get stressed out. I wasn't able to do much today just because of thinking about being down. Early this morning, I thought that, man, I think I'm not gonna make it in all of the leagues that I'm fighting for. But and then getting back up on a high.
But Jeremy has how many semifinals? He has 3. You have 3 in the
I have 3 in the Fantasy Benchwarmers League. Yeah, head to head.
And how about the other leagues?
No, I lost all my playoffs this week. I lost the Unbox one. I lost another 16 team by. It was a tie. We had a 4-4, but the unfortunately the tiebreaker is not the higher seed. It's a win over the other record over the opponent type of tiebreaker record, and I lost that matchup early in the season. So yeah, and I lost the the league with JC. So yeah. But 3 is good. It's a good amount, and I have one more that's starting this week. Our league is starting playoffs this week. So yeah, my fingers crossed there. Hopefully I get lucky. Unfortunately, it's not against. I'm not sure if that's unfortunate or fortunate. It's not against Komish, who
we're against each other
in our Wendy's league. No.
No, not the Wendy's league. Yeah,
we're against each other in the Champions League.
Champions
League,
and I
will battle it out. But in the Wendy's league, unfortunately, Komish was eliminated there. Because
that's another story. That's another story.
Komish has been forming alliances everywhere, and then today I found out that one of his alliance mates just left him in the dark. one of his
Shout
one of,
out,
shout out to that
Joao.
Joao Pablo, who Kumish thought you guys had a good agreement on how you arrange the matchups, but yeah, unfortunately, it did not pan out because Joao.
Just wait. Just for the information of the listeners, we didn't arrange it. It's just that we both didn't add drop anymore. We just talked about not adding anymore and just seeing where we calculated it.
You were against each other.
We were against each other, and we both have. This is not collusion. Now we both have matchups that we want that will help us advance. He got this. I didn't get mine.
This is like in the NBA playoffs, wherein you rest your players
to get the
just because you want to get a better matchup, right? This is like the Lakers last year, who rested some of their guys just to be able to make sure they face the Phoenix Suns, who they thought would be an easier matchup. That's the type of scenario that they were talking. So let's see if that works out for them.
No, for him, because he got his, I did not get mine. So
that's
so
how
the karma is better on my part. So that's why.
So let's see if it works for him. Well, we'll see what happens. All right, guys, that's it for Daily Fantasy Quickie. Good luck this week, week 21, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.